Hello, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World. I'm your host, Michma Bersahan. On News Mongolia today, Mongolia and the Republic of Uzbekistan elevate relations to a comprehensive partnership. Mongolia's cross-border rail agreement aims to target transporting 247 million tons of coal transported over 16 years. Kazakh Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister arrived in Mongolia for an official visit. For the news, stay with us. President of the Republic of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, paid a state visit to Mongolia at the invitation of the President of Mongolia, Hulusi Okhna. 14 official documents were signed between the two countries during the visit, marking a significant step toward a bilateral cooperation. The President Hulusi Okhna and the President Shavkat Mirziyoyev signed a joint declaration on a comprehensive partnership between Mongolia and the Republic of Uzbekistan. Both sides agreed to elevate their bilateral relations to the comprehensive partnership level, reaffirming their traditionally friendly ties based on mutual independence, sovereignty, equality, and territorial integrity. The declaration reflected their commitment to the purposes and the principles of the United Nations Charter and universally recognized international norms, with the shared view that strengthening relations would advance peace and sustainable development for the two nations, the Central Asian region, and the global community. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Economy and Development, Otrel Nyamasor, and Jamshid Hoxhayev, Deputy Prime Minister for Investments and Foreign Trade of the Republic of Uzbekistan, signed a cooperation program agreement between the Ministry of Economy and the Development of Mongolia and the Ministry of Investments, Industry and Trade of the Republic of Uzbekistan. The program will enhance cooperation in trade, the economy, and investments, as well as promote business ties, attract foreign direct investment, expand bilateral trade, and improve market access. Minister of Foreign Affairs Batsitsig Batmuch and Bakhtiyor Saidov, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Uzbekistan, signed a cooperation program agreement between the two foreign ministries for 2026 through 2027. The document outlines commitments to strengthen bilateral diplomacy through regular consultations on regional and global issues and facilitate the exchange of information. Minister of Justice and Home Affairs Mukhbatar Lauk and Bakhtiyor Saidov, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Uzbekistan, signed two separate protocols on cooperation. A protocol on cooperation in the field of crime prevention and law enforcement, supporting collaboration between the relevant authorities through experience sharing, consultations, and joint activities, and the protocol on cooperation between the General Archives Authority of Mongolia and the Uz Archive Agency under the Ministry of Justice of the Republic of Uzbekistan, focused on joint research, digital archiving, restoration, expert exchange, and collaborative exhibitions. Narambayar Pursuran and Bakhtiyor Saidov, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Uzbekistan, signed an agreement on cooperation in higher education between the Ministry of Education of Mongolia and the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Innovation of Uzbekistan. The agreement promotes the exchange of academic personnel and students, joint training and research, curriculum and software sharing, and the collaboration in innovation and startups. Minister of Industry and Mineral Resources Dandinyam Kongor and Bobir Islamov, Minister of Mining and Geology of Uzbekistan, signed a memorandum of understanding on cooperation in the mineral resources sector, establishing the basis for joint efforts in exploration, extraction, and processing using advanced technologies. Minister of Food, Agriculture and Light Industry Dandinyam Kongor and Ibrahim Abdurrahmanov, Ministry of Agriculture of Uzbekistan, signed two separate documents. An agreement on cooperation in plant protection and quarantine to ensure phytosanitary standards, facilitate plant product trade, and implement an electronic phytosanitary certification system. A bilateral action plan for expanding cooperation in the agriculture and food sectors, focusing on modern irrigation technologies, joint livestock projects, transplanting 5,000 plant seedlings using Uzbek expertise, fish farming, and beekeeping. Minister of Health Chimburan Jekjitsurung and Bakhtiyor Saido, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Uzbekistan, signed a protocol on cooperation in the health and medical sciences sectors. The protocol supports the training of medical professionals, cooperation in telemedicine and digital health systems, and knowledge exchange in health insurance and advanced diagnostics. Minister of Environment and Climate Change Batbatar Bat and Bakhtiyor Saido, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Uzbekistan, signed a protocol on cooperation in nature protection, focusing on joint efforts to combat desertification, protect water resources and biodiversity, addressing climate change, and promote environmental education. Minister of Culture, Sports, Tourism and Youth of Mongolia, Undram Chimbat, and Bakhtiyor Saido, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Uzbekistan, signed a cooperation agreement. The agreement aims to strengthen collaboration in physical education and sports, and encourage the participation of athletes, coaches, referees, and sports professionals in the events held in both countries. Minister Undram Chimbat and Azatbek Nazarbekov, Minister of Culture of Uzbekistan, signed an action plan for cooperation in ecotourism. Both sides plan to implement joint projects, promote ecotourism destinations, and conduct specialist training, exhibitions, and data exchanges. Ministers Undram Chimbat and Bakhtiyor Saido also signed a cooperation program agreement between the Ministries of Culture of the two countries from 2025 through 2028. Mongolia has signed a long-term agreement with China to transport the 247 million tons of coal over the next 16 years through a newly built cross-border railway with China. Expected to generate $3.7 billion annually in railway revenue, the project aims to boost the coal exports from 83 to 113 billion tons per year and significantly enhance Mongolia's economic resilience. Mongolia is set to transport 247 million tons of coal over the next 16 years under a newly signed long-term agreement for cross-border railway transport. The global coal market, known as the black gold trade, is subject to annual price and demand fluctuations, making stable export logistics crucial for resource-dependent economies like Mongolia's. Rail transport is expected to play a key role in the effort to boost trade. Though discussions began as early as 2003 and continued with over 60 rounds of negotiation since 2008, the agreement was finally signed on May 14th of this year. Officials emphasized that this deal will help increase annual coal export volumes from the current 83 million tons to 113 million tons. It is expected to generate $3.7 billion in railway transport revenue annually, contributing significantly to Mongolia's economy.
As soon as the railway connects at the border, coal will be directly loaded for export. Once loaded, it heads straight to a Chinese distributional terminal, where unloading and reloading facilities already exist. In China, the coal transferred onto a narrow-gauge track and sent straight to end users. This streamlined process will increase coal's market value as it reaches consumers. Rail transport is environmentally friendly, cost-efficient, and capable of carrying large volumes. Initially, the new line will handle only rail-based transport. If market prices remain favorable, we may also consider complementary road transport in the future.
This marks the first major cross-border railway construction project since the rail link at Zamingut was completed 70 years ago. The expansion aims to increase port capacity and improve the transportation of mining products.
thereby elevating Mongolia-China economic ties to a new level. Their railway project will also ensure safer and more reliable logistics operations.
Numerous government resolutions have supported this infrastructure project. We've already begun construction, aiming to complete 87.5 kilometers of the total 102.5 kilometers by October. Funding for the project will come from coal transport revenue generated under our long-term agreement with China Energy, which will be used to repay the investment.
Through this large-scale infrastructure initiative, Mongolia and China have signed to jointly implement three core activities: the construction of cross-border railway, a long-term coal sales and transport agreement, and the expansion of coal mine capacity, all within the framework of government-to-government cooperation.
Now, let's take a look at Mongolian current affairs. On the invitation of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia, Batsetseg Batmo, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Kazakhstan, Murat Nurtleyev, arrived in Mongolia on June 25, 2025, for an official visit. Upon arrival at Bointuha International Airport, the Deputy Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister of Kazakhstan and his accompanying delegation were welcomed by Dawabayara Bayirhu, Ambassador of Mongolia to the Republic of Kazakhstan, Dawadurja Mukhtur, Ambassador at Large at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia, along with other officials. This visit marks the first official visit at the level of Kazakhstan's Foreign Minister in 19 years, following the previous visit in 2006. On June 24, 2025, Mongolia's permanent representative to the United Nations, Akhbayar Nyamdurj, met with the United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres at headquarters in New York. During the meeting, Ambassador Akhbayar expressed Mongolia's strong support for the Secretary-General's UN-80 initiative, describing it as a timely reform aimed at enhancing the effectiveness, transparency, and efficiency of the UN system. He welcomed the initiatives focused on reviewing existing mandates, eliminating overlap, and pursuing structural reform. Ambassador Akhbayar also highlighted the ongoing activities, projects, and the programs of UNICEF in Mongolia, acknowledging the organization's valuable contributions over the years to protecting and promoting the development of Mongolian children and youth. Both sides exchanged views on how to further expand and strengthen this cooperation. Secretary-General Guterres fondly recalled his successful visit to Mongolia in 2022, describing the country as a symbol of peace. He emphasized the importance of Mongolia's contributions to UN peacekeeping operations and reaffirmed the UN's continued support for its close partnership with Mongolia. Here are the currency exchange rates provided by the Mongol Bank. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We will see you next week with more news and updates. Until then, have a great weekend.